So I'm going to click over here. Hi, it's so good to see you. And I have Zoomy audio and let's make absolutely certain that I'm using the right microphone because sometimes, yeah, it says Blue Snowball. Okie dokie. Sometimes it lies to me. So apparently it is not lying to me right now. And here we are for the Saturday 6. Thank you all so much for joining me. Yay! It's Saturday. I like Saturday a whole lot. I hope you like it as much as I do. So, man, I don't have much of an intro. Kind of sucks. So, in case you're new here, although I don't see anybody off, but Andrew, you're leaving. We're just getting started. Thank you. Homebody, thank you so much. It's the purple. The purple is just a great color, and I was actually talking, I think to Steve about this, earlier on Wednesday, but I think I like purple because it's the best color. But he asked, are you sure you don't like purple and say it's the best color just because you look good in it? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just drawn to it, but it's entirely possible that subconsciously, like underwear, I don't notice it. Andrew, I'm sure you also looked fabu in the short skirt. Although, we might be more convinced if there was photographic evidence. Just saying. Steve, get over yourself. You have a check mark. That's enough. Maybe once I'm raking in the big bucks from all the YouTube dollars, then I'll be like, you know what? I'll send you a wrench, like a little Christmas tree ornament that's a wrench, and you can hang it. You can. It'll be really tiny, and I'll send some tape with it, and you can tape it to the ceramic Christmas tree from Granny that you have. It is. Purple is a Lenten color. It's also the color of Advent, I think. 3 of the 4 Sundays. One of them's pink. Not really sure why. So, yeah, homebody, exactly. Yeah, but I'm not sure that I look good in it because I love it. Like, the fact that I love it is not necessarily what I think. It's like, are you a spring or a fall? I never really figured that out. I just know that I like how I look in purple. So, yes, that is, I guess we could say that is one of the good things, although it's not actually on the list. There's my transition. So with that said, I'm going to go over here and scroll through my list. So, not this past week, but the week before was spring break. It was really nice. There was a family reunion down in Florida. Didn't go to that because I was tired and didn't really, it wouldn't have been far to travel, not as far as going like to Pennsylvania or something. But, ooh. Wait, what? Homebody, not many, I don't know. Maybe it's a Georgia thing or a Georgia and Pennsylvania thing. Because like, I know lots of people who look good in purple. Anyway, acid green is definitely a superpower. So one of the things, I took a day trip to Sewanee which is where, and I get confused, I think it's called University of the South at Sewanee, which is a really weird name for a university, I think. Anyway, so there's a literature professor that I got to know years and years ago on, as I was blogging, and he was working at Maryland at the time, University of Maryland, and he was teaching literature classes, and his blog is Better Living Through Beowulf, which I'm going to try to remember to put, actually, wait, where's my notepad? There it is. Get it out here without spilling too much stuff on the floor. I'm going to put that in my notes because I don't actually have that as one of the links for this week, but I think it would do well to add that. So the pen also is purple. The blog is Better Living Through Beowulf. Link. I'm going to add that link to the description once we're done. Anyway, so I really liked the way that he was able to kind of what I'm doing with Saturday 6, except he included literature and said, here is, what's going on in my classes, in life, in, current events. And I've always been amazed at how he's been able to do that. And I was like, one of these days I'm going to go up to Maryland. I'm going to take one of his classes. And then he retired and he moved down to Sewanee. And as it happened, University of the South said, hey, would you be interested in teaching a literature class? And I was like, internet, that's not that far from where I am. And I emailed him and I said, or I think I left a comment on his blog. I said, I would love to sit in on one of your classes. He said, you're welcome to. I said, when's your spring break? Because colleges often do not have the same spring break that high schools do. And they didn't. So his spring break, I think, was back in March. So I got to go, and it was really hard, you guys, because first of all, they were reading a book that I hadn't read before. So I picked up Song of Solomon. Fortunately, it was at the high school library, so I was able to do that. And I read the first 5 chapters going into spring break, and I took the class on Thursday. So I was like, so I was all ready. And I had to I didn't get to say all the things that I wanted to say, and all the observations. I had notes, for all through these chapters, and things that I wanted to talk about, and from before too, from earlier chapters. It's not an easy novel. It's not. It is novel in the sense that it is new. It doesn't just, it doesn't just follow the hero's arc. It starts off, and the way she goes, Morrison goes back and forth in time, is confusing. The characters, for the most part, don't have what we might think of as typical Eurocentric names. The protagonist is named Milkman, and there's a reason for that. It's a nickname. His name is actually Macon. And but he gets called Milkman, which is actually helpful, because if he was called Macon, it's a patrilineal name, so it would be the same name as his dad, who was still around, and his grandfather, who was referenced. So yeah, there was a lot to talk about, and I had to hold back, but it was interesting because he introduced me as a teacher, so I also talked. It was really hard, Steve. It was so hard, but I was also I was in between student and teacher mode because he introduced me as a teacher, and so of course I'm thinking, these are sophomores, I think this was a not major level class, but not introduction, basic class, and certainly not a remedial class. So they'd had some literature classes before, and I think one student was a senior who'd missed a literature course, and I'm going back and getting it. Anyway, so it was interesting being in that position because it was a little bit different. I mean, these students had it was a required, literature is a required course in, for most 4-year degrees. And it's not something they've chosen for their major. So it is kind of a required course, very much like literature in high school or English in high school. But these are students who have chosen to come to university. So there is some self-selection there. So I'd say it's kind of like an honors class in high school, except the students, they're not in high school anymore, so they're a few years older. So it was just really interesting to think about that dynamic, and also to approach it as somebody who has, a lot more reading. I'm certainly not as well read as Dr. Bates, but I'm way more well read than the students, because I'm twice as old as them. I'm more than twice as old as them. And Summer Ending Beak, you asked a question there. I hope Steve understands, because I'm not really sure what you're asking there. So anyway, that was definitely a good thing, and I've been looking forward to that for months. And I was a little bit worried. I'm like, oh, what if it doesn't go well? But it was really nice. It was just about everything that I hoped it would be. Not long enough. The drive there was beautiful. It was, just a slightly bit cloudy, and going through the hills of Tennessee, as the song says. It was lovely, and it was breezy, but sunny, and blue skies, and sunlight through the green trees. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Dr. Bates said that University of the South is on the Princeton Review's top 10 best looking colleges. So, very scenic overlooks and things like that. I'm so glad that it was easy for you, Winterburden, and I hope that you found your study of it enlightening and meaningful. Possibly some random geek, but that's because I use restraint. I'm when I'm like when I'm in front of a group, like, and part of this is also how I was raised. Like in my family, we have developed strategies. We are all very animated and passionate, and so we've developed strategies for coping with discussions and making sure that we get our word in, while at the same time remembering to hold back and not take over. So it's like deliberate. So yeah, that was definitely a plus. I have not yet finished the book. So once I got through the part that was like assigned for the class, I sort of went, okay, now I can like focus on like the stuff that I'm actually teaching and take a breather. Because it was hard, you guys. It was hard. The keeping track of the characters was challenging. Some of them have similar names. There's Rebecca. Is it Rebecca? Ruth, and it's not Rebecca. Is it? Oh yes, it's Rebecca, but she's called Reba. That's what it is. Because I remember it was 2 4-letter R names, and I'm like, really, really, you had to do that? That's just not fair. The rest of the names are a little bit easier to keep straight, but their relationships, as far as who's the mother, who's the sister, who's the niece, who's the daughter, a little bit tough. So, hey, Radical Bacon. Yeah, I know, but it is what it is, Say lovey. All right, so next, so yeah, I got to host a tweet chat. I'm pretty involved I've gotten more and more involved in Twitter, I guess really just this semester. And it's been a great way to have conversations with other teachers just outside of my own geographic bubble, and teachers who want to talk about teaching outside of school hours, and who are passionate about some of the same things. It's nice because it allows you to curate the conversation to some degrees. Go ahead, you feel free to promote it now, the Random Geek. It could be science, technology, English, and math. Radical Bacon, just saying. So yeah, I finally got to host formative chat, and that was a lot of fun. And so the way that a tweet chat works is everybody uses the hashtag at the same time, and so they follow the hashtag for like 30 minutes. Some of them are short as 15 minutes, but those are rough. They usually go longer than the 15 minutes pretty easily. They get towards half an hour. So I think formative chat is one of the half-hour ones. So it's nice because you get enough time to really get into the conversation. But the ones that are an hour, by the end of the hour, I'm pretty tired, honestly. Formative chat is on Monday nights, and the focus is on assessment and evaluation in a way that shapes instruction going on. So it forms your instruction going on. That was a lot of fun. And then, was it that week? Or I think it might have been the next week, or it might have been a different chat. I was involved in one of the other tweet chats, and I won a book. And so I got that. I haven't had a chance to read that yet, or I haven't taken the chance to read that yet, because as I say, you have the time to do things, you just maybe don't use the time to do things. So I have had the chance to finish reading Song of Solomon. I've just done other stuff, and likewise I've had the chance to read this book, which I should have grabbed and brought in here, but I didn't. Anyway, and I don't remember the title of it off the top of my head. Now I feel a little bit bad. Oh wait, no, I do have it. I did bring it in here. Here it is. It's called Finding Your Blind Spots by Hedrick Nichols, who I follow on Twitter. So I am looking forward to reading this. I just haven't. I've really been focused. Radical Bacon, I forget who I was talking to about that. I've been focused more on my job, but talking about grades a lot recently, and the focus on grades versus the focus on learning, and how it's very transactional, and the point that I keep coming back to is that, guess what? We live in a capitalist society, and in this system, it's set up for competition and sorting and ranking and how much you make and what kind of house you have, and or how big your house is and what kind of car you drive and all these sorts of things. And so, ranking students by grades, and students understanding that the value of a grade is in how you compare to others, that's important for our culture. And likewise, that kind of connects into the transactional nature of higher education, and whether or not, the liberal arts section of your typical four-year degree, what the purpose is of that, and or what the value is of that, and how it doesn't help you getting a job necessarily, but the point of it is not just, college isn't just about getting a job, and education in general isn't just about getting a job, and yeah, there's so much going on there. It's Steve, you spent, or not you per se, but somebody spent $120,000 to study from people who have lots to share, and to be around other people who are choosing to study, to be involved in a community of learners it's a privilege, literally a privilege. And I think that's reflected in the fact that we require financial sacrifice in order to, to be part of it, which is unfortunate. It would be nice if you could just choose to be part of a community of learners just to do that. But I mean, that's, in Maslow's hierarchy, that's self-actualization, which is like way up at the top after you've met all of your other needs. Yeah, I know, but like, it's funny because it's true, but also not. Some random geek, not quite. Not always. I think the educational system is designed to make workers who fit into that system, not necessarily compliant, but conversant in the system, and certainly, I don't want to say unquestioning. Well, yeah, unquestioning of the system, knowing how to work the system, being comfortable with the system, comfortable enough with the system, even if it doesn't always work for you, that you're like, I don't want to change it because I know what the heck I'm doing with this system. Anyway, some random geek, I will say that is not true. I guess it depends on what you mean by great, but you do not have to have a great attendance record in order to get a high school diploma. Not great by my by my estimation, at any rate. I think, I mean, if you're showing up one day out of 10, we don't disenroll you. Now, chances are, if you're only showing up one day out of 10, you are not going to pass your classes. You're going to be there. You're not gonna learn enough of the material to pass the class. Some random geek, I have come on Social Justice Alchemy, and I have talked with John Bruckman, who is a teacher. In fact, you know what? You need to tell him he needs to come here on Saturday evenings. So take that, John Bruckman. All right, so yeah, I need to keep it moving because there's other stuff coming up, which most of you already know about. Okay, number 3. This was the cutest. You guys, if you have not seen this, I'm going to move that down because it's a little bit high. There you go. You guys, little baby prince. Or, as to pun on it, the Little Prince. So the Missouri Teachers Union was on strike. I think the strike is over and they've actually gotten what they asked for, so hooray. And so there was a journalist who was looking through archival footage of, newscasts and stuff from a previous teacher strike in Missouri. And he's like, given the time and, when this happened, that looks like it's Prince. And the fact that Prince is from, where this was, that looks like it might be Prince. And so it turns out it was. And let me see if I can find this. Is it gonna, okay. Okay, so I have this little note here. They've got a little, and I think it's his first time on, television. and he's like 10, 11. And he says that he's talking about he supports the teachers who are striking, even though it means like he's, that he's losing out on his education. And he says, I think that teachers should get more money because they work extra hours for us. And I'm just like, oh, yay, Prince supports the striking teachers. And one of the things I didn't know, and I think it's in the article that I've got the link for, but it may not be, is that apparently the song Purple Rain was written in support of teachers and teacher working conditions. And I was just like, wouldn't have known it because I'm not all that familiar with the lyrics. I mean, all I know is like purple rain. But, purple, yay. Yeah, Prince knows the value of purple, duh. And it's really cute, and he's, on camera, you can kind of tell that maybe he's a little nervous, but, he's just kind of doing his thing. And it's just like, it's just sweet. And, yeah. So I just thought that was cute. All right, next. Okay, so one of the things I've gotten involved with recently is community development here in Rossville, and there is also figuring out local government is complicated because you have the federal government, which is big, and the state government, which is not as big, and then you have the county government, which is the next step down, and then you have like city government, and then in addition to that, around here you have what's called the Downtown Development Authority, and they are pretty new. Although we used to have one before, but so it's just gotten started again recently. And they had a meeting over spring break, was their monthly meeting. I was like, I can go because it's at 8 a.m. at the library. And so normally I couldn't go because I would be teaching. So I went, and they talked about some of the programs that they had going on. And one of them was this get together downtown in the community. And it was this past Thursday. And I went, and it was so nice to talk to people. And it was nice to talk to people who want to work together to make our community stronger and to bring in businesses that do something that helps the community, like not just, we have a lot of the payday loan type places. Not keen on those. A lot of people get down on the vape shops. I don't mind them as much as I mind the payday loan. Oh gosh, yeah, predatory lending, not cool with that. Random Geek, it's hard though, I can understand it. If you're not there and if you're not there and you don't learn, it's hard to learn if you're not there. And if you don't learn the material for the course, I can understand not getting credit for the course if you haven't developed some mastery of those skills. And it can be really discouraging for students when their peers move on and they don't. And so students still have the opportunity to graduate later, but after, if you don't graduate with your peers and you don't graduate the next year, very few students continue past that, even though they have the opportunity to do so. No, I have not joined a HOS. I don't think we'd get to. They'd look at our house and go, no, you're not getting it. So yeah, I don't actually live in the city, but I live close enough that, I do things in the city. So I've started getting more involved with that. So the community development get-together was at Florida Mill, which is a relatively new business, and it's a meadery. And they brew mead, which is alcohol made from honey, and they have a restaurant. The food is really good. And they've just started bottling their own mead. When they first opened up, they were getting started with the process, but the meads that they offered were actually ones that were, for the most part, regional, but they had some in from yikes, there's a cord there, California and stuff. So when we went back, the meads that they offered, I noticed it didn't have the vintages and stuff. And I'm like, I think this is all their stuff, which is pretty cool. I will say, I don't think the meads that they have now are as flavorful as the ones that they had when they were getting other people's stuff, but they're new at this. So I really hope that, teacher mode on always. I hope that they continue to learn and think about, reflect on what they're doing and what's working and what's not, and learn and improve, because yay. Oh, that is super awesome. Yeah, pretty much, Steve. So I'm hoping the Downtown Development Authority, I think they have to have authority in the name because they don't have much. They are appointed by the mayor and the city council, I think, but they're volunteers, and I don't think they enforce anything. They just, because our city is economically struggling, I think we qualify for some grants and stuff. So they've been working with that. They've renovated a park downtown, and added in some additional sidewalks, because a lot of the places around here a lot of neighborhoods don't have sidewalks, and it's difficult to make connections. Oh, gimlets are lovely, actually. I've gotten into gin recently. It's pretty nice. So it's really one of the things I have a habit of doing, of getting involved in too much. And right now, I'm not doing a whole lot with theater, but I've started doing more with the local Democratic Party, and now the Downtown Development Authority, and the library, and things like that. And I'm like, okay, I keep adding on, and I need to dial it back some. I haven't recorded the podcast for the commute, and I need to do that because I'm past the middle of the month, and that's when I wanted to do it. But okay. I'm telling you, well, Radical Bacon, my neck of the woods, it's the cost of living is really low. I forget where I was on Twitter, and they were talking about, that you have, you can live somewhere, you could afford rent if you move out of California. The downside is that you're living in, places that may not accept you for who you are. So, but if you moved around here, I would accept you for who you are. And, we could, build from here. So there's actually, next Saturday, there is going to be a renovation, downtown cleanup type thing. We're going to be picking up trash and doing some, they're going to get some power washers and stuff. And they're going to be painting murals on some of the downtown buildings. So that sounds really cool. And I'm going to go help clean up. And I'm hopefully going to take lots of pictures. Maybe some video. Maybe I can share some of that with you guys. We'll see. Don't know. So, and then the big one. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that I was worried that Ketanji Brown Jackson was Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was not going to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. But I was kind of, well, first of all, the whole process and the stuff, the process and the stuff that she got asked. Oh my goodness. That was just, it was objectionable, certainly offensive. It was discouraging. I think that's a good word for it. It was discouraging. And yeah, she's so well qualified to be a Supreme Court justice. And wait, Mikulski? Did I say Mikulski? Oh, Murkowski. Oh, I typed. Oh. I was like, I thought I mentioned the wrong thing. Murkowski, not Mikulski. Okay, well, I'm sure it's right in the article. And I think, there we are. It jumps when I do that, you little butt face. Print supports teachers unions. Let's go. Thanks for the correction, Steve. Write it on your calendar. I was wrong. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, there's already a comment there. There we go. It jumps again. I don't know why it does that. Google, fix that. There we go. That looks better. Hey, Steve. You're right, Steve. I hope that felt nice. So So like actually part of the reason I put it in here was because this was, I think point number 5 was where I, where I had the, not Medicare, the insulin vote. And because in the same way we have some, it's a bipartisan vote, not by much, but it's both encouraging and discouraging in some ways. Random Geek, I disagree with that. In terms of like what the words mean, and in terms of like, I think the Democratic Party, they're certainly not leftists. And I don't think I would even say that they're progressive, but they're not conservative. They are, I would say the majority of Democrats are pushing for progressive policies very slowly. The pace at which they're pushing for them, but they're not conservative in the sense of trying to keep things the way they are. I mean, that's what conservatism is really about. Whereas the GOP runs the spectrum from, I would say, at least conservative through reactionary into fascist. And there's different spectrums there, but the Make America Great Again, that's literally not conservative, but that's like full on reactionary. Just like the phrasing of the slogan. Like, we need to go back to the good old days where things were, those sorts of things. Whereas the idea that we can go from here to make things better, that's a progressive mindset. And I think that the Democratic Party and major players, as corporate controlled as they are, they do have some of that. Not that we want to go back, but that we want to make forward progress. And so I would hesitate to call them conservative. Corporatist, that I will be with you for. So, yeah, I was pleased to see that at least some Republican senators said, yes, this is just accurate. We should vote to confirm her, because not because it's the party stance, but because because she's qualified, and that's her job, and they did their job. But the vast majority of Republican senators did not do their job. They abdicated their responsibility. There was a perfectly good progressive candidate put forward, and they said, no, we don't want this person. We're going to come up with excuses, but the real reason was she's not going to rule in our favor. And like, that's not what it's about. Oh boy, it's not what it's about. Random Geek, capitalism is a really broad set of policies. It is a really broad structure. And I disagree that the Democratic, no, Random Geek, that's not their job. They did what their base wanted, but that's not their job. In this case, that is not their job. It is not their job to choose is this person who has been nominated an appropriate nomination? Yes or no? And the answer is yes. Let's be absolutely clear on that. It's not to do what your base wants in this case. In most cases, when they're legislating, yes, their job is to create and pass laws that their base wants, that their constituents want. Not just the ones who are members of their party. Let's be clear on that as well. But when it comes to the Supreme Court confirming, appointing the justices, that's not supposed to be how that works. Legally, that's not it. Anyway, yeah, and that doesn't matter in the case of confirming a Supreme Court justice. It does not matter. So I think the Democratic Party does want to conserve capitalism, but not necessarily capitalism as it currently exists. And so there is a sense in which they want to, I mean, there are different forms of capitalism. So calling them conservative because, like, that would be like saying, well, they're all conservative because they want to conserve the nation, or they want to conserve the well-being of their constituents. Well, hopefully everybody wants to, hopefully, regardless of how progressive you are, you want to conserve the well-being of your constituents. No. All right, moving on. And actually, I don't need to rush here because I'm doing okay because I'm already at 5, is number 6. So I did not know if this, I had an idea. I knew that there was something that was going on yesterday. And I didn't know if it was going to make the list. So I have another one, which is going to be the bonus one, because I was like, I know that's going to make the list. But that is now the bonus. So number 6 is the tank. And in this case, I do not mean a military tank. I was asked by one of my former students to help out with a fundraising effort. And this was the result. So I don't know, you may be able to tell what that is. You may not. That's a dunk tank, y'all. And so I spent some of all of the homeroom period and some of my planning period on that little bench with my little sandaled feet dangling over a big old tub of water. Now, I don't know what the weather in your neck of the woods has been like this past week, but on Tuesday, when I left school, it was 86 degrees out. It was sunny. It was warm enough that I was like, I turned on the AC in the car. And that's saying something. So I think it was Tuesday when they asked me if I would be willing to help out with the dunk tank for their fundraiser on Friday. I was like, okay, sure, I can do it. Hi, Sarah. I hope you've had. Well, Radical Bacon, North Georgia, is near Chattanooga, and I don't know if you'll fall in love with the houses here, but they're probably within your price range if you can afford something in Chattanooga. So anyway, yesterday morning I got up, and it was so cold, you guys. It was so cold. It was so cold that our car stereo, which has, literally it was called Shenanigans. Our car stereo was like turning off and on again, because it was like, what the heck is going on? And so anyway, I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know that I can do this. I was supposed to be on the bench at 9:50, and I was like, it'll warm up some. No, it was, the forecast said, what, Steve? I think you checked for me and you said it was going to be what, like 53? 53. It was 39 degrees when I left for school in the morning. Like barely over. And that is Fahrenheit, Sarah. Not, your metric system. Aw, thank you. I'm wearing purple. It's like the best color. So, but as it turned out, it did not warm up. It was still quite chilly, but it wasn't super cold. It wasn't as cold as I've ever felt. I think it was maybe even to upper 50s. And as you can see by the picture, it was very sunny, no clouds. It was very helpful. Because like once I got dunked, the dress that I was wearing was darker, and so then when the sun hit it, Dunkin' Dana's. When the sun hit it, that warmed it up some. So it really wasn't as bad as I had been afraid it was going to be. It was so much fun to get up there and razz the students. And just to tease them and pick on them. And it's also challenging because you obviously you can't cuss them out. In fact, as I approached the tank, I asked them like, okay, so is the water heated at least? And they're like, no, it's just hose water. And I cussed under my breath, and then I saw there was a student like right over there, and I looked at her and I said, "You didn't hear that, did you?" And she just kind of looked down and I was like, "You didn't hear that?" So yeah, I was like, oh man, if the water is this bad, I'm like, I'm gonna get myself fired. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't. And actually, one of the deals that I made with the student who was in charge of this was I was like, look, I'm going to give you my phone. I'm going to show you how to work it. You get video for me. You're going to get video for me because I'm going to get something out of this. And in like the 15 to 20 minutes I was up there, I made those guys $70. It's just like, forget YouTube. I'm like, I got a new side gig. So, it really was a lot of fun. And then I sklished into the building after I was relieved of my duty. And got off the bench, crawled, climbed back down the little ladder, and gracious, yeah, Radical Bacon, this house that I'm in, that's like it was less than a tenth of that price. Now, in fairness, it was in really horrible condition. Still in really not great condition. But yeah, we got this one for I think $59. So yeah, of course, if you're in Chattanooga, like I said, we're in Northwest Georgia. So and we're not even in the city of Rossville. We're a little bit south of there. We're in the county. We're like right near the city, but we're not actually in the city limits. And it's just like it's I mean, the neighborhood's not sketchy or anything, but it's not fancy. It's not well to do or anything like that. So, yeah, look around. You can find something more affordable. It probably won't have the gorgeous view that a gracious $750,000. Just, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I mean, I guess it's all a matter of perspective. So anyway, I actually enjoyed sitting in the dunk tank, and then, and students had fun, teasing me about being up there, and teasing me about getting dunked. They actually had the original price. Of course, now I'm taking stuff out of what's going to be in my video. The original, I heard them saying, it's $1 per throw, and then you get 3 throws for $2. And then I heard them say, and $5 to push. And I was like, no. And I just flat out refused. I said $10 for that. So yeah, I know your worth. Don't accept less. Because of course you also have to make it about what is actually feasible. So I was like, they could come up, and they did. Some of them did come up with that $10, little cheaters. And then there were people who walked by it, and I was ticked about that. I was like, no, y'all are supposed to be making money. This is not fair. You put somebody over there to watch the paddle. So those are my 6. I really enjoyed working. I wasn't sure that I would, but I enjoyed working the dunk tank. Also, I also got an email yesterday morning that said, can you cover so-and-so's class during your planning? I was like, I'm going to be in the dunk tank, and I don't know. I knew I wasn't scheduled to be there the entire planning period, but I really, I remembered, I'm like, I need to be here at this time. Didn't remember what time I was supposed to get out. No idea. Had no idea how long it would take me to find some place to change. I brought a change of clothes and towel. No idea how long it'd take me to get changed, back to my room, dried off, all that stuff. So it's like, I have no idea. And it ended up, I could have helped out with that, but gave me a good excuse to say no and get away with it. So I did have some planning time. Didn't get any grading done, but I did get my lesson plans caught up for next week. So they're all ready. Yay. So yeah, there have been some bumpy spots, but overall, it's been a really nice week. So let's take just a couple minutes. Tell me What? Grammar. What did I say? What was wrong about my grammar? It was fine. I'm just going to call artistic license. So tell me about your week. How has it been? I hope it has been at least as good as mine. I have tea. I have coconut mango, I think oolong tea by Stash. There are people in the US who use metric, but in general, Sarah, other than that, enjoy your metric use. How's your week been, Sarah? Man, I asked for exciting. Ooh, I asked for input and all of a sudden it goes quiet. Y'all are worse than my students. But in fairness, well, and it works. I guess it does work kind of like class, because as soon as I call on somebody, then I actually get a response. That was something that was floating around Twitter. I don't think it was a tweet chat that I was in, but people were saying about how bad it is to call on students and how it makes them uncomfortable. I'm like, I need to do a video about that, because it's only if you do it the wrong way. If you call on students in a way that is non-threatening, Random Geek, I am bummed at how expensive cons have gotten. I think Steve mentioned that in somebody asked him about that for Ask Away, or maybe it was in the chat about whether he would go to a con or not, and he's just like, it's expensive. Yeah. So why has your... Yes, Sarah, he told us about that, but we have yet to see any photographic evidence. Just saying. And so I'm very curious about why your week has been exciting. Avoir du poids. That is a wonderful phrase, homebody. And congratulations on your job offer. Radical Bacon, I am so glad to hear that. Not being in poverty, being able to be secure and comfortable in having your needs met, it's just so nice. It's so nice. So I'm very glad to hear that. Of course, Steve's not saying anything. I guess his week has sucked. But I know that he has something good coming up here in just a little bit. Actually, maybe he is quiet because he's getting ready for that. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, some random geek. But it should be going all weekend. Will you have a chance to get to go at all, or are you going to be stuck working all weekend? Well, I'm really... Radical Bacon, I hope that you do get to, like, find someplace nice and Chattanooga and we can get together, like, for real. That'd be so cool. That'd be really, really, really cool. No, Random Geek, that's no, that's not true. Come on, you you missed your cue there, dude. You need to say, also, I need to abolish capitalism so that my friends can be comfortable too, right? So, yeah, we do what we can. We help people. Well, it's not faster than light travel. It's certainly not immortality. Those are two big ones. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Now we're going to be doing something, and I'm going to be wondering about that as we talk about the future. Hey, I'm Loudon. All right, so I am going to scroll up. This is the bonus one, and I hope you will all be able to stick around for this, because the Ensign's Log live stream is coming up next on... Yeah, I put my contacts in for this. I don't know. I was getting ready, and I'm like, okay, I still have 20 minutes before I have to be on camera. What am I going to do? Or 20 minutes before, I was like, I have a little bit of extra time. So I put it in the contacts before, like I did, my eye makeup and stuff. So, so yeah, the Ensign's Log live stream is coming up next. Not here, but on Steve Shives' channel. And I think I have the link down in the description, but like, y'all can find that. It's super easy. And Jason and Steve and I are going to be talking about the most recent season and our characters. And honestly, probably Jason and Steve are going to be answering people's questions, because people ask about Star Trek. I don't know a lot about Star Trek. I do not know a whole lot about Star Trek. I know like this much. Like, I know who some of the characters are, and I know the names of most of the shows, and I know the name of, wait, nope. I know the name of one of the ships. The Enterprise. Oh, thank you, Radical Bacon. Well, maybe I'll have a couple minutes to check it before the other stream gets started. Thank you, Random Geek. You're so good at this. And also, Random Geek, I will say thank you so much for keeping up to date with charitylinks.page, which is a way to help some of our friends who have financial needs that they could use some help meeting. So that is down in the description. The link to the live stream that's coming up just at the hour, so in just under 10 minutes, is there in the chat and might also be in the description down below. And in just a little bit in the description, I will also put links to the articles about Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation and Prince being on camera for the first time and supporting striking teachers in Missouri. And also, I'll put a link to the blog Better Living Through Beowulf, which is where I went and visited that professor's class on literature. And don't forget to check out the rest of my videos and leave me comments because I'm a sucker for those. Yeah, hit the like button. Subscribe. I think you're probably subscribers already. If you're hanging out this much, you ought to be. Gosh, is there anything else I want to... And then I guess visit us next week. We're going to be watching Star Trek next week. Don't... Yes, but it's not just the Enterprise. I know there's the Enterprise C. And then, oh, no, I know two of them, because there's the Enterprise. Or is it D? Shoot. Well, I guess I know, like, they're just alphabetical, right? I don't know. I know that the original Enterprise was from the original series. And then I know that the one from TNG is C or D. I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, I guess that's about everything. So I'm going to wrap it up now so that if you need to, you can like run. Maybe you can make some tea and join us over on Steve's channel for the Ensign's Log live stream, which is coming up in just a little bit. And hopefully you take some notes over the next 2 weeks and really look for things that are good. The reason that I started doing this was because I really believe that, and I mean, it just makes sense. You find more of what you're looking for. Hopefully we notice the good things anyway, but when we actively look for stuff, we're going to find more of what we're actually looking for. So you'll see more good things and have more happiness in your life, and you'll notice more of it if you look for it. So look for the happiness in your life, and then come back in 2 weeks and share it with me too. And I'll share mine with you. So I guess that's it for tonight. I will talk to you about Star Trek stuff in just a few minutes. Bye, everybody. Actually, I said bye, and then I don't even have the OBS up. So I need to go over here. My bad. Okay, so now, for real this time. Good night, folks. Well, I mean, I'll see you soon. Bye.